Hey guys, it's me, Jodianne. Welcome back to my channel. This is your compendium to the witching half hour or so. Today's episode is all about the Lover's card. If you go over to Spotify or iTunes or wherever amazing podcasts are found, you will find episode 17 of the witching half hour or so. It breaks down the symbology behind the Lover's card. And this is your YouTube companion to that episode. I'm going to actually show you the cards that I was talking about in that episode and share some wisdom and some insight on reading the tarot. Let's start with this card. A pretty traditional look at the Lover's card. You have a fellow choosing between two women. Often you'll see it depicted as a fellow choosing between a queen on one side and a maiden on the other. It's much clearer in the Tarot de Marseille deck I have, but this deck's a bit cuter and a little bit more pleasant to look at than the really harsh reds and blues of early printing. So, oh, and this deck is from just a little box of tarot. It's a cute deck. It's only about, like, really for real, the card is this big. So you can see the Cupid up there ready to shoot his bow wherever this fellow chooses. So the traditional idea behind the Lover's card is not so much about love and partnership and falling in love, it's about choice. The hidden messages, the esoteric or occult meaning behind this card is choice. It is how your decisions unfold and manifest for you. We want to remember that 6 is a number of balance and a number of completion. It's the 6-pointed star. The 6-pointed star is created out of the symbol for water and the symbol for fire. Triangles are 3. 6 is 2 3s, so you have balance. The number 3 is always about manifestation, the birthing of something. If you go back and listen to my episode on the Empress, we talk about that, the whole idea of birthing, of the 3 being the result of the union of the divine. So now we have 2 3s, so we have balance. And it's the balance between the water, which is associated with our emotion, right? It's associated with artisticness. It's associated with creativity, emotion, flow, change. And then you have fire, which is more masculine, and it's associated with our willpower, how we wield our will in the world with transformation and with, I guess, authority. I mean, fire is what separates us from the animal kingdom, is our control of fire. Anyway, I digress. So you have the choice between your passion and your will. And how you choose creates your reality. And that's the deep meaning behind the 6. Let's talk about some more of the cards. So the other one I brought up was the Mythic Tarot. As you'll see here, we have the Mythic Tarot, and it's still a choice. You have Jason, the hero Jason, choosing between 3 goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Looking at that, I like it because it creates more choice. Instead of setting up a duality when it's like monk life versus lustful life, you actually have more than 2 virtues. You have a more holistic, normal approach where you have more than the dualities of good and evil, virtue and lust to choose from. You have 3 separate goddesses there, and Jason has to look into himself and look at his own values. So those are the 2 I have of the more traditional look of choice that is depicted in the Lover's card. Now, the next card I'm going to show you is from Ciro Manchetti's Legacy of the Divine Tarot. And if you've at all been on this channel, you know I love this deck and I use it a lot. Now, what's interesting to me is instead of going to the traditional ideals of it, he illustrated this card off of not off of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but you can definitely tell it influenced it. that this card is this way because the Rider-Waite-Smith deck happened. Now, that deck is what a lot of people build off of. A lot of people look at the Waite-Smith deck as the tarot deck and the only one of reference. And that's why I'm really excited to do these series with you, because I want to take tarot back further than that deck, because there was lots of decks before that. Now, what Pamela Coleman-Smith did is she depicted choice as the repercussions of choice. And she has Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and you have the apple tree there, and they are going to choose. And you can see in the Legacy of the Divine deck that we have that idea that apple is down at the bottom. You have that deep loving connection, that spiritual love connection between two people with those angelic wings and everything. I do think when we look at the Lover's card as simply about love between individuals, it is only part of the equation. There's more nuance to this card than love and lust and partnering and romance. I do think that there is the idea of repercussions of choice, because you do have that symbology of the Garden of Eden there. It is the choice of two individuals that plays out and, I don't know, defiles all mankind in the Christian mythology. So it's from this idea of the Waite-Smith deck, when we see Adam and Eve, that we now have other decks that show divine union as the Lover's card. My dog just sneezed. That show divine union as the Lover's card instead of choice. And you can see here, I pulled a deck. This is the Secret Garden of the Fairies. I can never remember the name of this deck, you guys. It's a really cool deck though. So when you can see in this one, you have the idea of a balanced relationship. So you still have kind of virtue and lust, or yin and yang and polar opposites available in this card, because she's very red and he's very blue, and they're like in this beautiful balanced dance. So you do have duality, but the idea of choice isn't highlighted. It's just the idea of union and duality. So the next contemporary deck I'm going to show you is the Llewellyn Tarot. Now, this is even more interesting because the idea of repercussions of choice is in it, but only if you know your Welsh mythology. So when you look at this card, the script up at the top there, it says, "The dream of Marcus Welding." And I'm going to spell that out in non-cursive for you so you can go and Google that story. Basically, it's a Welsh mythology about this king that falls asleep and dreams of a beautiful woman. When he wakes up, he cannot get her from his mind. He becomes obsessed with her and obsessed with finding her. And his obsession and his pursuit of her causes him great demise. He loses his emperorship, his people kind of rebel against him. It's just a whole, go read the story. Anyway, if you were just looking at the surface of this card, it looks like deep, amazing romance. Look at how beautiful that is. They're just wrapped in each other, and you have the idea of Cupid there, like Cupid's in the veil behind them, similar to our Cupid shooting an arrow, right? If you know your mythology, though, this card speaks of choice and the ramifications of your choice. What you choose and how that changes your path and your life. So if we were to sum up the sixth card of the tarot, it's about finding balance, because it's a 6. It's creating balance between the element of fire and the element of water. And it's about choice. So there you have it, my take on the Lover's card. If you're liking this content, please subscribe. Head over to the the podcast, subscribe over there, have a listen. I go a bit deeper into some of the esoteric meanings I feel on that. So that is there for you if you are a student of the tarot. I am Jodianne. You can find me on www.jodiannepsychicmedium.com. Links to everything I'm putting out, events I'm at, things I'm doing, how to book a reading with me is all there. And yeah, on this channel, you will also find monthly readings. So have a click around and enjoy. Bye, guys.